and these
So
someone
is interviewing us right now about why we're here and what we're doing, why we're going to Berkeley.
That's a non-profit.
Yeah.
We need
George
to do
Soros.
Yeah, George Soros. Actually, George Soros' son is affiliated with Berkeley. Obama is affiliated with Berkeley. So this is why when we went up there,
Look at all this diversity.
They disarmed
True diversity.
us, but they let Antifa keep their M80 bombs and their other bombs and throw at us, and that's not fair.
And the mayor is a member of Antifa.
One question.
Okay. What is the Antifa? What terrorist group?
Okay, so they're actually fascists.
They're called anti-fascists.
They call anti-fascists. They call themselves anti-fascists. All they have to do is throw the anti, and they're not fascists. They're actually the fascists. We're the conservatives. We're the Americans. They're fighting for the globalists. They're fighting for the establishment. We're anti-establishment.
They're completely anti-American.
Yeah.
I don't think they're fascist. I think they're more communist.
They're all of that.
Any of them.
It's hard to distinguish at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to
They're
distinguish.
wearing masks. We don't
Many
know.
of them have communist flags.
They're extremists.
They wear masks, so we don't know what they are.
They don't want to talk to us. They don't want to talk to anybody.
They just want to beat us
They're
up.
not there for peace. They all wear masks. Okay, here's the thing. I was at Berkeley 2 weeks ago. There was two sides. There was the Patriots, the Trump supporters, and there was Antifa. Antifa threw, this is documented, over 28 M80s, huge firecrackers that can blow a finger off, and bear mace. It is verified. Our side was not doing any of that garbage. Our side was not throwing bottles, cement, bricks,
When they
and
would
all
throw
that.
it at us, we would actually throw it behind us, so we wouldn't throw it back.
So these people, and it's weird because we know them so well, but I guess a lot of America doesn't know about it. Like I've told people, and they're like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
But it's basically
It's an
They're
Alameda.
a terrorist organization.
we think it's a terrorist organization. They're anti-American. They don't follow the laws. They also trash their cities. We were
resort to
picking up
violence.
garbage around
The
Berkeley.
thing is, they want to shut down any opposing view. They want to shut down any view that's Trump related, any view that's freedom of speech related.
Yeah,
They
that
want to
doesn't
shut
fit the
down
narrative.
Okay,
freedom of
but
speech.
we're not getting into what do they stand for though. Talk about that too. Sorry. What do they stand for?
How about you say?
Okay, what
What does Antifa stand for? What
Okay,
does Antifa?
they are communists. They are. They are fantasy utopians who are obsessed with this notion of equality, radical equality at all costs. Everybody who isn't a white male is a victim, and anybody who is, I mean, that's just the paradigm. Someone was talking about intersectionality before.
Yeah.
They have been completely radicalized into this left-wing communistic narrative, and so now, like we're watching this video here, the next stage is now full violence because the political process failed. Why? Because they're pushing something that's fundamentally flawed and false. They're in a country which is a federal system in which states vote, electoral votes decide the president. It's so contradictory to what a lot of these kids have been taught about what the system should be. You know, one of the first things you can tell about why we're seeing kids' minds warped, they keep saying we're a democracy. No, we're not. We're a republic.
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
know, I have friends in Antifa, actually, yes. I know a couple people, and they've explained to me exactly what it is. And, you know, I've come to this idea of what I think it is. You have these professors who for years have been telling people that America is oppressive, white men especially are oppressive, women are being oppressed, everyone is being oppressed. Antifa is merely a byproduct of years and years of spreading this message. And they, you know, they're not all bad people, and I could be shot for saying that, but they're not all bad people. They are, some of them are good people with big hearts who are misguided, and they feel like they are truly fighting a fight to destroy the oppressors who exist on all of us. And now we are representatives of those oppressors.
They're being so influenced by the media. If you see these narratives
And they're
that come
professors.
out, we have mainstream like comedy.
Like that
and
one
stuff.
guy in Fresno who said, "Let's hang the president."
They say punch a Nazi. They say they're spreading violence. Okay, but here's the thing that's wrong. Listen up, guys. Here's the thing that's wrong about punch a Nazi and putting that on Saturday Night Live. Who defines what a Nazi is? Because if I don't define it, if Saturday Night Live defines it,
They're like pretty much self-described.
think they
No. They go in and say punch a Nazi is okay, and then they say all Trump supporters are Nazis and come attack us. I'm not joking here.
They called us Nazis.
They call me a fascist.
This isn't a
Hey, Candace, you remember? They called Candace a
They called
Nazi.
me a Nazi. Let me tell you guys where the Nazis.
Wait a minute, Candace.
I'm gonna tell you guys where the Nazis came in from, okay? Because I was a living byproduct of this situation, okay? I got sick from a medical device made by Bayer of Germany. I was in 17 hospitals, had 8 surgeries, ended up homeless on the street. I researched the top 10 pharmaceutical corporations in the United States. I found that they were all internationally owned. And guess by who? Germany, France. Okay, though Germany is the top pharmaceutical and agricultural leader. Bayer and Monsanto, I reported this to Obama back in 2014. I sent my research to Obama back in 2014, forewarning him about the German-controlled pharmaceutical industry in the United States. Germany is coming back on the United States from World War I and World War II. Okay, the KGB has not went anywhere. We have communism in our country because of the pharmaceutical industry and Monsanto, who are all of Germany, and Germans board members that control Bayer and Monsanto sit in Germany. So that is a big problem for the American people.
I want to add one more thing really quick about what we're seeing with these Antifa people. They are absolutely the byproduct of professors teaching on this cultural Marxist narrative of oppressor and oppressed. Andrew Breitbart talked about this. And now the professors themselves, some of them like Camille Paglia, are actually terrified of the monsters they've created. We're starting to see that reaction. I think that's something to point out too. So
bringing up your talk about punch a Nazi,
Oh,
it's
God.
a very dangerous precedent.
Yes,
And
it does.
Since Nazi is this arbitrary thing, that you
We got
can't
the
really
commie
define,
right there, the commie cockroach. Gutierrez was there.
It's suddenly a Nazi.
We the People Rising shut down his town hall at USC 2 years ago. Chased him out.
That is a very, very dangerous time.
Okay, last question, and then
That's
I'll
what
let
we
everyone
did.
get back to actually hanging
Yeah,
out.
I'm sorry.
So good.
What's
We're
your-
hanging out. We're hanging out. We love this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we got Ellie for Trump, We the People Rising, we've got Trump supporters of all backgrounds here from different parts of the state of California here, but we're patriots. We're fed up with the lawlessness. We're fed up with First Amendment rights being shut down.
And set up a speaking event where all of us can showcase as the headliners of that event to replace that, because what we need to do fundamentally is protect free speech, right? So if ant culture has allowed the leftists and the liberals
Kinda
and the
shitty.
hateful people to stop her from exercising that right, then we will replace her in that regard, and we will stand up for those rights, and we will showcase to the American people that this is what we're here, and we're not afraid, and we're not going to allow hateful leftists that are all being cut, these political operatives that are sent to disrupt and incite violence at these events. So we're going to go and we're going to speak, and all of us are going to live stream it. A lot of us are social media influencers with very big followings, and we're all interacted as this movement and this MAGA crowd.
We're probably gonna go to just a public park and we'll
Maybe that park will
and we'll
We'll
tweet
go
out
where Ann
the
Coulter was gonna
address,
go.
and we can get hundreds.
This is a
of people
fight.
over.
This is a fight of good versus evil, and the fight in part is that with Antifa and these leftists, they don't think there is a good or evil, and that is evil in itself. This is a fundamental fight of good versus evil.
And it's incredibly important for us to continue
more than
to
Trump.
show up. Regardless of whether or not Ann Coulter shows up, because if we didn't, it's not an even day. It also sets a bad precedent. that we can scare the conservatives away. We can scare them into submission. We can scare them into silence. By showing up, even though Ann Coulter isn't showing up, it shows us that you can't silence us. That we will still show up and stand up for free speech, even if one
So just letting everybody know, this movie is called Enemies Within. It's about
That's all the
communistic
media's fault.
Communist Party infiltrating the Democratic Party, and how we're seeing a cultural communist insurrection in this country.
And all these leftist groups, and then they don't really give us too much coverage out there. They basically say we're the extremists.
You notice how the police stood down last
The
night?
police stood down.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Trump supporters were getting bashed on the head, white blocks.
So who wants to go to the Berkeley PD tonight?
Learn from the mainstream media.
Keep talking to the media, mainstream media. I've literally never had more cameras pointed at me than right now.
are.
The free press.
yeah.
The free
Yeah,
press.
right, we're
protected.
taking-
Yes, we are.
Please.
The message is getting out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, I was telling them that, you know.
And there's the camera right
people,
there.
People tell me, I didn't know there was LA Trump supporters in LA or California.
I thought I was alone.
Yeah, I thought I was by myself.
This guy's from
Corporate-
Palos Verdes.
corporate-
Alan for Palos
corporate
Verdes.
media. The First Amendment is protected speech. They're using that speech to block it. They're actually anti-free speech.
Dave has more Twitter followers than I do.
CNN cuts their story.
Baked Alaska.
Check this out.
They've suspended my account
Yes.
3 times. They've taken away monetization from all of my accounts, Twitter, YouTube. I haven't been able to. I'm one of the biggest Twitter influencers, and I haven't been able to monetize on Twitter. I would be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but then my friends who are liberals, they got their application accepted in a week.
And check this out. We can have all the 300 million Americans overnight, just like this, if they didn't censor us. Just because of the censorship, this movement is not entirely the whole country.
Censoring people that aren't even Trump supporters. People like PewDiePie, who's he's the biggest YouTuber in the world, and he just said some like pro-Trump jokes and stuff, and they took stuff out of context, and now they've demonetized the majority of his videos. All his tweets are marked sensitive, so that means if you're not signed in on a certain age, you can't even search for his videos.
It seems like his globalist interest, if you stand for the interest of the American people and you're kind of like conservative and you're opposing that leftist liberal agenda, it somehow seems, you know, the correlation of events that all of these global interests, these large companies, somehow come together and try to discredit you and assassinate your character and set up these kind of false flag events and do all of these things behind the scenes that are probably downright illegal to discredit the movement and try to shut down, you know, dissent.
I gotta say this real quick. This is just a quick statement. One thing I realized, and we were talking about all the different digital medias, 4chan, Twitter, and all that. One thing we realized is that the conservative viewpoint exists whenever there's free speech on social media. It always turns conservative. Look at 4chan, where there's no rules, where it's all anonymous. It's always conservative. Whenever there's rules, regulations, and censorship, it's always liberal.
And I feel like our biggest, one thing we haven't touched on yet about the media, our biggest critique of the media we haven't touched on yet is how the mainstream media, particularly CNN, is not holding the same standards to conservative news and liberal news. Right. For example, CNN had a
We're on our way to UC Berkeley. We're going to stand up for free speech, for the United States Constitution, for Judeo-Christian values.
And then meanwhile, on the tape thing, they talk about how there's chemical attacks happening in Syria, bombings happening from ISIS. Why is it not front page news? Right. On top of that, CNN says that, WikiLeaks is illegal. You can't access WikiLeaks. And on top of that, they were also guilty of cutting off people's feeds whenever they mention anything critical about Hillary Clinton.
Anything controversial.
Even when it is a Democrat individual.
And not only that, remember when they had a showcasing of CNN, someone took a picture where they were actually feeding the people that were supposed to be random citizens. They were feeding them the narratives and the questions.
And then one of the
directly went to Hillary.
So what's happening here?
There's a black lawsuit against CNN in regards to discrimination. Did y'all know that?
I want to ask about memes and stuff. Is this good spot?
Yeah.
You should do that, sir.
I'm worried about some of the sound quality. That's my only issue.
Yeah. May I get my phone? Can you just unplug it from the USB?
Were involved in politics prior to.
Oh, that's a good.
Okay, yeah, I can elaborate.
Thank you, Ian.
And what did that look like? And did that ever look like this, or is this your first experience?
Well, I want to say this because I almost died. That's why I'm in politics. They almost killed me. I wouldn't be on this bus.
Who's going?
Okay, that's why I'm standing up for politics. When you almost lose your life, you will do what you gotta do. Bottom line.
Sorry, She gets a little fired up. It's not a personal attack. It's just
Are you at? Wait a minute. What's the question? I got it.
Guys, can you listen for a second? We're having
emails that
Okay, Baked Alaska has the floor.
We're having a media organization that is letting us give our viewpoints, and I think that's very respectful of them. And so we need to respect them, and we need to talk calmly and clearly.
Yes.
And they're not telling us anything to say. They're letting us say what we want to say. So let's just be respectful and talk. Let's not yell. Let's talk calmly.
Also respectful of each other and let each other talk.
Yeah, and be respectful. If someone else is talking, let them talk.
that was a good question, Mike. That was a good question that she brought up.
Jay, what was the question?
She said that were we involved before the Trump movement? You know, were we involved before Trump started running for office? This movement has existed for a long
I have a couple
time.
friends who are in it. They're great people. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
Actually, I agree with you. They're good people, but brainwashed.
They're brainwashed.
That's what we said.
They're brainwashed. They're good kids, man.
They're radicalized.
They're radicalized good kids. Yeah, some of them are awful human beings, right? But some of them are good kids.
They think they want to save the world. They think they want to save America from Trump.
No, not America. They think they're going to save the world.
Yes.
There's a Germany Antifa. I just found a Germany Antifa. Yeah. Check this out.
It's very ignorant.
I got a. Here's a question. I don't know if.
I'm thinking also maybe some questions might be better in a smaller group.
Yeah, for sure.
But whatever you want to ask.
I have a question that I would hope you'd like to ask. I think you asked how did people get involved or were they? You said they were before more than one.
The question I do want to ask
Okay.
is how many of you guys were involved in politics before this recent election?
Never. I've never been involved.
Show of hands.
No. Say that again. Okay. How many of you guys got involved in politics for the first time around Trump?
First time.
First
I've always been in
Well, I've been active since Obama administration. I've been working with the federal government for the past 5 years.
I've been active for about 4 or 5 years. There was a liberty wave already, a libertarian conservative wave already there. Trump just hopped in the wave, and we supported.
I voted for Ron Paul, so that I guess I was before.
I got involved because
Ron Paul
of.
started this really libertarian-minded movement of an idea of individual liberty. So that's what we all believe in, and Trump believes in the same thing. That's why we support.
I got involved because of Obamacare. When it passed, it was the first time I called my congresswoman and said to vote no, and she voted for it. And this monstrosity, the very concept of the government getting involved in our health care, I got involved more actively.
I think Baked Alaska
1:37,
also has
so
done
it's like
an incredible job
20
of
minutes.
defining us as a movement. You know, he reaches out to all of these Trump supporters and all the people that truly care about our country. And he's kind of the one that, for me, I think he really kind of red-pilled me in that sense because, you know,
Red pill.
Explain that.
Quote from the Matrix. It's the blue pill, the red pill. The blue pill you take, and everything is fine, and you wake up like nothing happened. The red pill is the information, the true of the truth, where you can see through all of the BS that the mainstream media. When you get red pill, it means that you, in essence, you're conscious, you're awoke, you realize what's actually happening.
Your friends need to be red
Stuff
pilled.
that's behind the scenes that most people
Yeah.
don't realize.
And what are the things
And then they need other
I'm working on it.
But you know, when we go to these rallies, they tell me that I need to be on my meds.
Leader in the community because he's the one that's been reaching out and building friendships and building this movement up and saying, hey guys, look what's happening. Like, you have the huge voice, use it for the right way. So, you know, that's why we kind of
I have one last question before. Just tell me specifics. When you get red pilled, what do you realize?
just essence that, you know, like the government is corrupt. You realize all the things that are happening. There's so much stuff that's going on that you don't realize. You know, the government wants fluorides in the water.
How about the media being
nanoparticles in the chemtrails. Vaccines are causing autism because of high mercury content, which is a neurotoxin and an endocrine disruptor. There's a lot of things. Not everyone believes that. Not everyone does. The bottom line is that you're conscious. You're aware.
That's more advanced.
The red pill is basically the pill that allows you to keep going and keep contributing to liberty, because if you get lazy on liberty, you have to, you'll basically lose everything.
The red pill for me is basically being able to be open-minded against the mainstream narrative. That's what it is.
Or
And
pop
so-
culture.
But more importantly, that it's false.
The red pill for me is coming back to life, and God giving me a second chance to fight for what's right for all women and for my country.
Conservatism and libertarianism saved my life.
Apparently, the red pill's different for everyone, but it's almost like
how
an
it is, right?
enlightenment of. It's an enlightenment that you didn't think could be possible, and you kind of have to just take a leap of faith, and that's why they call it the red pill, because it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, getting shot,
because
getting
you're
killed,
like,
getting beat up.
No.
is the red-
The scary part for me is why would I go against everything I've been taught my entire life?
That's right.
That's such a foreign thing to me.
So you take the red pill and all of a sudden
Yeah.
you're like mainlining Alex Jones.
The red
No.
The frogs are gay. It's like, oh my god.
No.
Filtering.
No, that's just one area that he has studied that he believes. Everyone doesn't believe
Just like
that.
everyone
And you know,
else.
Tim,
It's
you
different for
called it a
everybody.
leap of faith. For me, it's the opposite. It was the smashing of all faith. Because I had faith in the system before.
True.
And while I might not believe in chemtrails and some of these other things, the one thing that I can agree with everyone here on is that the media feeds a narrative. And the narrative is to keep us in line for whatever benefits those who control the media. I don't know who control the media. I'm not going to guess at it.
And
right?
that's why we go
But
against
I'm
the media.
I'm going to say this. In film world, what controls what we watch? The money. The money always controls it. It determines what gets made at any moment. And so the only thing that I can get from this is that the money controls the narrative and that they do what's good for the money. And it may not be what's good for everybody else and working people.
We're just at the beginning of this story. I'm going to spend.
Does that make sense?
Today. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
We're going to spend today. We're going to spend tomorrow together. So the thing I want to get past, and if you guys can help me to do this with you, is to get past just it's about the media or it's about sort of these big things. And really, I want specifics. I want tangible things that are.
You want tangible?
We don't want
Let
thought.
me sit there and I can give you tangible about what happened to me.
But that's just to end this sort of little moment, and we can. I just wanted to ask a couple last sort of more clear.
I ended up
definition.
homeless on the street because of it. Okay, you want tangible?
I can't hear her question.
Okay,
More clear definition.
I'm going to give her a more clear definition.
Oh, wait to do it because I want to.
Yeah, hold on.
Like we don't hear about it. I don't know what it is. Like where did it
Sure,
start?
sure.
When did it
So,
start? What's
Online.
Okay, so Antifa stands for anti-fascist. That's what it stands for. So it's a group of people who believe they are fighting fascists, and they are doing it with masks. They are doing it with violence. They're openly calling for violence. It's not like they're not like, oh, we don't support that type of violence. Like openly on their Facebook pages, on Antifa Facebook pages, will say we want 100 scalps tonight. They will call for scalps. They will call for heads. They will call for violence.
Clinton supporters?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a mixture
We
of
don't
all
know
of them.
who
It's
they are.
Bernie
They hide their
Sanders,
faces.
it's Hillary, it's
You have to understand something that socialism and communism are inherently violent. They can only be imposed by force in the first place.
Only mass murderers agree that gun control works. They want gun control. They want free abortions paid for by the taxpayer. They want all that stuff.
All the Antifa people have in common is that they hate Trump. They hate America, and they seem to be pro-violence. And I'm talking on their Facebook groups, on their tweets. They've come after me. They've doxed me. They've said they're gonna, say they're gonna knock me out and stuff like that. So they're
basically anybody who's a nationalist is a bad person in Antifa's eyes. And the mainstream they say, oh, they're a nationalist.
I was trying to give them a Pepsi the other day, and they said you're a bigot. When I said,
Oh my God.
I said, hey, why don't we have peace and I'll give you a Pepsi? Because
Come on, you knew you were making a joke. with the Pepsi.
but shouldn't they have a sense of humor? Like we're all Americans, we're all human beings. Like they should be able to laugh and accept my peace offering, or just say no, thank you. Instead, they call me a bigot and they threw my can away. So that's another reason why I think we're winning is because we are able to have a sense of humor. We're able to have fun. Look, we're on a party bus. We may disagree on things with each other. I brought my friend who doesn't like Trump at all, and I I think he's just as valuable as everyone in here.
That's right.
And I think that's one reason why we won the election and why we're winning many battles in the culture is because we can have fun and we're accepting of people. We're not perfect, but we care about this country. We really love this country.
And I want to talk about why, you know, because there's lots of people who fight for their country. The communists fought for Russia. What is special about America? It is an exceptional country. People like Obama wanted to make war on that and diminish us to a second or third world status. This is a country where anybody can come from anywhere, starting out with nothing, and be more than something.
Yes.
There's life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. There's also this. In this country, the government was formed on an understanding that human beings are always going to be corruptible and want to take over and use power against others. This may seem a little too poli-sci to people, but this is really important because every other, from these commies to these socialists, they still have this mad idea that if we could just find the right person, if we can get the right person or the right group of people, then we'll have Shangri-La on Earth, and it will never happen with fallen human beings. That's what our Constitution recognizes, that human beings are not perfect, and that human beings, individuals pursuing their self-interest, but in the rule of law, being able to defend yourself is the best way to go, allowing individuals to make decisions. And this is something that globalists, communists, socialists, Islamists are absolutely opposed to. That's what Antifa represents. And they've got multifaceted ways of fighting this beautiful thing. America is more than a country. It's an idea.
It's an idea.
It's a reality. And people want to kill it. And we're not going to let them. We're just not going to have it. And that's why I'm coming.
Right.
Got it? It's not just about Ann Coulter.
Right. We gotta get
We're on the march. The empire's on the run.
High five.
Hail to the yeah.
Hail to the yeah.
Germany doesn't have this. France might get this. Jazz hands.
And a big thank you to Vice for being cool. And David as well.
Thank you.
Let's get the blue guy. That's all.
And
Okay.
I'm sorry if I seem so loud.
Are you sure?
You seem loud. But no, all seriousness aside, everybody.
You're passionate.
I almost lost my life about 5 years ago. I am lucky to be here with you guys. I was in pre-cancer stage. I had a disease. So I am very blessed to be here. And I am passionate because I did my research. I know what these international infiltrators are doing in our country. So that's why I'm here and I'm supporting my president and I'm fighting for my people and I'm fighting for all of us because we are all Americans.
Yeah!